Hello everyone, welcome to another video. In the last video I show you how you can easily import realistic characters with animations into your cave projects in order to create your game. Now take a look at this scene. It's a bit too blank, there's nothing going on. So what we need here now is to have textures, materials, and 3D models, especially realistic ones or mega scans, in order to really make this complete and create advanced games. So this is exactly the subject of this video. I will show you two ways of importing good looking materials and meshes into Cave. So enough talk, let's go ahead and jump to this video. And just as a disclaimer, yes, of course, you can create non-realistic games, you can create cartoon games and etc. So it will be all listed over there. So don't worry about that. And if you're new here, Cave Engine 1.2 just got released and I'm offering a launch discount. So make sure to click the link in the description if you were waiting to get the engine, because this is the right time for you. So let's go ahead and jump to the video subject, which is assets. And for this video, I'll be showing you two different ways to get assets. The first one is using the Fab Asset Store. It's an asset store by Epic Games. Epic Games, I don't know if they purchased it or something like that, but they did something with Sketchfab to make like a unified asset browser, anyways, the thing is, there's a bunch of good looking and quality assets here in the Fab store, and the good news is that they are no longer bound to one specific engine, which is of course Unreal Engine. You can use it in any engine you want, so this is very good news for us in Cave, because now it means that you can have realistic assets here very easily. So I will link Fab in the description. I already have an account here and I'm logged in, and if I go here to the left tab where it shows discover, I can browse 3D models here. You can see there's 200,000 3D models here, so it's a lot. And of course I can click price and only show free models just for us to get started. Then you can see there's a lot of good quality content. Again, there is stylized models, there is realistic models and all that, so this is good. In order to have these objects compatible with Cave, all you have to do is to make sure that they do have a Cave compatible format. So here in formats, you can enable, for example, FBX or GLTF, GLB, OBJ, and so on, and Cave will work. Especially FBX is the recommended format for you, so you need to enable this to make sure that you have it. But for our purposes here, all I would do here is to go to Publish It and select or search for Kixel, because they do have mega scans. Previously it was like an Unreal Engine thing, now it is for everyone, which is very good. So you can see this is like 3D scan models from real life with high resolution details and all that, so it looks very good in a video game, and we will download some of them and import into Cave for you to understand how they work. For example, I can search here for cliff. So you can see free Quixel and results for cliff. I do have a bunch of cliff meshes, and I can select one and download and import into Cave very easily. So let me actually try to find a good one here. Something about the mega scans, the cliff mega scans especially, is that they only have one side. The other side is completely it's empty. If I see here in the 3D view, it will load. So you can see this is a good looking model, and the other side is, well, void. So we need to keep this in mind. But I will go ahead and download this one because again, it supports FBX, so it will work out of the box into Cave. So I'll click download. So here I can select the resolution. I'll go ahead and download the high resolution here, high quality. You can see FBX, so I'll just click here to download it. The download will start, and in my case it's already done, which is very good. But in the meanwhile, I'm not gonna open Cave directly, because I want to show you another thing, another website that is very good, not for 3D models but for textures, which is Polyheaven, and we will use Polyheaven first to do some adjustments here. Polyheaven is very good. If you want, you can support the developer behind it, because they have a bunch of models, not only models, but textures and HDRs that are completely free and CC0, meaning that you don't even have to attribute this to the alpha, which is like crazy, right? Oh, and by the way, when it comes to license, make sure you look at the license here. When you download something from Fab, because of course there's a lot of different licenses in Fab, so you need to understand what is the license here. This video is not a legal advice. Some of the assets will require attribution. We're not going to have commercial use, for example, but this is depending on the asset you download, so make sure you check that, okay? But let me go to Polyheaven, and I'll click here to browse HDRs, and I'll also click here to browse textures. The very first thing that we will do is download a good HDR texture to our game, because it looks, well, black at the moment. So let's go ahead and fix this. And I'll try a couple of different ones. I think I like this one, and I also like this one here. Let me do this live. Yeah, this one is good. And also this. Look. But I'll try to download... well, let's try this one. The thing that I don't like about it is that the sky, the horizon will be appearing when we play. So I try to make to use an HDR where the horizon line is very is below the center of the image. I personally like it this way. You may like differently. We do have also some HDRs that does not have anything at all in it. So you can see this. The down part is just like a mirrored and blurred part of the top part. And in my experience, this works very well. I really like to put skies like this. Even like a mix of two different HDRs, I like to do this. For example, this is for reflections and this is for the actual sky. This would work very well. So I'll go ahead and try to download this one. Let's see how it works. I want 4K HDR, so click here to download. Nice. So the download is completed. And just for curiosity, I'll actually go ahead and download this to others as well. Download is complete. Now let's go ahead and try to drag and drop them into Cave. So I will go ahead to the content folder here, and I'll create maybe a new folder for the HDRs. And inside of this folder, I'll go ahead and drop all the 3 HDRs I've downloaded. This is like almost 100 megabytes of texture, so they are very high resolution. KView support, you can, if you want, go ahead and compress the image so it does not take a lot of memory, so it's fine. But let's go ahead before any of that and click here to select the background, and then in the sky tab, I will actually select the texture here, or I can just drag and drop them. You can see we do have a sky. I'll go ahead and drag and drop this to the texture, to the ambient texture, so it will use this as an ambient light. You can see that the sky is very dark, so what I can do here is increase the sky intensity to a higher number. And also now I need to increase the rest of the settings. For example, let's put 80 here in the sun to make it much more bright, much brighter. And you can see that the sun is not looking correct. Like the sun in the HDR is probably here. So I need to adjust this. I can either adjust the sun angle here to fit this, or I can adjust the HDR, the sky angle here, to rotate the sky, the entire sky, which is very good. So it will be aligned, good. And I can also increase the ambient intensity, so it's a bit more concise. I can try to match this with the HDR background shadows here, so we can have a better result overall. And if I save this, it is saving all the HDR, so this is why it is taking a little bit longer. Well, it is already looking much better. Look at this. Whoa, nice, very nice. Let's just, I think I like this one most, but just to make sure it is the one that we'll go with, I will actually change the HDR with the other two. Whoa, 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 this really fits the SWAT guy theme. Yeah, I think I like this most. This is definitely better. Where's the sun? Yeah, the sun is even at the right position already. Nice. Let's go to the last one. Yeah, I think I like the other one most. Let me know in the comments which one you would prefer in your game. But I think I'll go with this one. And I'll leave this here and I'll delete the middle one just to save some memory. Nice. This is the right HDR for us. Now let's go back to the HDR heaven and I'll go to again the textures because I want to find a dirt texture for the ground. So click here. I can go to terrain, for example, very easily. And I know you guys want to see the Megascan being imported, but I'm just preparing the world here a little bit better. I'm not sure which terrain I will use, actually. Let's try this one, the gravelly sand. I wanted something darker, to be honest. Let's see the HDR. Huh. It's like a desert, something like this will do the trick. Let's try it. Yeah, I think this one will be a better fit. I'll click here to expand. And for cave, what you probably want is a diffuse. The displacement, if you want, the normal GL, because it uses OpenGL, and the roughness, this will be enough for us. I want the 1K textures, and I'll click here to download. It will download a zip file, and then I'll have to extract the zip file. So let me open the zip file. I don't want to buy WinRAR today, sorry man. And I'll go to textures. I feel bad for saying that, but anyways, let me just create a new texture, a new folder here on my computer, and I will extract those 4 images, and then I'll go ahead and drag and drop them into my game. So I'll create, let's go to the materials tab, and I'll create the textures here. I'll actually create another folder for the textures. But I'll just paste all the 4 textures here. You can see the cave already identified the normal map as a normal map and added the filter to linear, and the other are all gamma space, which is great. So to create a texture here, it's very easy. All you have a new material, sorry. All you have to do is to drag and drop your texture and it will be created for you. You can see the material. Let's actually call this dirt. And I'll click here the material and I'll adjust, for example, the normal map. I'll drag and drop the normal map texture. Good. And I'll do the same thing for the roughness and maybe even the displacement. I can set a new displacement. In the displacement factor, I will try to add a little bit of displacement. Not sure if it is looking very good, to be honest. This is an experimental feature. It is not very visible in this texture because, well, it is kind of weird. So what I'll do is I'm not going to use the displacement. I will remove this texture and I'll delete it from here. We also need to adjust the normal map, right? The roughness map. Oh, I already have the roughness in place. Good, so we have this texture. Let me actually click this and make this larger. And now you can see that the resolution is very bad because this is scaled up. So what I can do is go to my dirt material, and in the UV scale here, I can make it like 5 or something like that. Now it is tiling, and I have, well, a better resolution overall. So I'll move these textures into the texture folder that I created. Here we go. Now we have proper ground. If you want, again, you can go ahead and play around with different textures from Polyheaven, and they will work until you find some texture that will be good for you. For example, we could try the other one, this other gravel sand, and see if this is a good match. Let's actually try this one. And I'll also do one last one with like a dirt. Rock wall, I don't think this will be good. Brown mud, this one will be good, definitely. Let's see. Or not. I'm not sure about this one. So let's go ahead and extract those textures here. And then I'll go back to cave and I'll import all the other textures. can see, I think I've imported two textures twice. Third floor, 1K, yes. I've imported the same thing twice. They are very close to each other. So let's go to the brown mud. Here we go. And I'll actually use the gravelly sand. So let's start with the brown mud. I've drag and dropped this. So let's actually go ahead and adjust the normal map. And the roughness map. I'll actually make this 5, increase the scale. Yeah, this is already better. And I believe this is a good place where the displacement, here we go, you will actually look good. Look at this. Of course, I'm exaggerating the displacement here for you guys to see what it is about, but it is making the thing 3D. So put a little bit of displacement. The downside of this technique is very new into Cave, is that if you pay close attention, look at where the cube meets the ground, it will feel like the cube is floating. Same for the character feet, you can see. So this is a limitation of the technique, but still it's very good. Yeah, I think this one looks very good. Man, nice. I'm tempted to not even try the other one, to be honest. But let's go ahead and try. I'll move the brown mud out of the way, and I will actually go ahead and do the same thing with the gravel texture. Yeah, it is already looking not so good. You can see the difference that a texture makes, right? Yeah, let me know in the comment which one you prefer. I don't think I like this one. So I'll go ahead and go back to the dirt too. And I will actually delete the other material. So now we have this one. Great. Let's finally jump to the best part of the video, which is the Megascans, right? I already have it downloaded, so I'll go ahead and maybe I'll create a new folder in the mesh. Not in the mesh, but let's create a new folder for the assets. Right click and rename it to assets. Maybe even the material and the mesh needs to go to the assets. And double click in the assets, I will create a new folder and I'll call it cliff. And I'll double click it and I'll drag and drop my Megascan that I already forgot the name of the FBX we downloaded. It's this Clothfield, something like that. Let's go ahead and locate this. Oh, it's because it's a zip file. My bad. Here we go. Let me extract this in my computer here in another monitor. You guys are probably not seeing this. I know, I'm aware. Now I have all those files here and the FBX file. So what I like to do when it's like that is I like to import first the textures here. For Cave to already have a reference, so we just imported 50 megabytes of textures, and then I'll import the FBX. So you can see here that now it is asking me for settings. I'm not going to create a subfolder. I want to import everything, but I want to see what is going on first. Then I'll click here to import the assets. The default material, unfortunately, did not link the textures here by default, but it's very easy. All I have to do is to select the material, and then I'll go here and select the appropriate textures. For example, this is the gloss. I don't want the gloss. Let me delete. The normal map, we'll go to normal map. The roughness will go to the roughness. Specular, I don't need. I'll delete this. This is the ambient occlusion also. I'm not going to use this. Base color. Here we go. Now we have a base color. And this is the bump map. We do have normal map, so I'm not going to use a bump map, of course. And then with the texture created, you can see that the, oops, I had a small warning, but you can see that the cliff here is updated. And of course, I'm making a suspense to double click this and show you, but it is here, the exact same cliff that we download from Megascan. So go ahead and instantiate this into our scene. You can see the back side of it, as I said, is missing, but the front side is here, is present. So go ahead and scale it up because I think the scale is not so good right now. I still think it's not so good, but well, at least it's better. Let me know in the comments. I already have always have a hard time understanding the right scale for a mega scan like that. But if I play the game, it is right in the textures. This is why it takes a little bit more the first time you save after importing a bunch of textures, because it is doing the compression and all that. Here we go. And we do have the mega scan. It does not have physics. If you see, I can walk through this because we did not enable the auto physics mesh. And this is important because we want to generate our own physics mesh, of course. So how to do this, you may ask? It's actually very simple. This is the LOD0 of the image. By the way, if you want, I'll press 8 here. You can see the LOD0 of this cliff. I can click here in the LOD level of detail, and I can generate LOD levels for this. So it will generate other 3 LOD levels. Cave Engine does that automatically for you, and it will swap the LOD level as you go further away. So this is very good, okay? And if I want, I can even see here in the mesh. Of course, I need to edit the template, which LOD I am. Let me actually simplify this. I'll just go straight to the point here. But it is creating the LOD levels, which is great. So let's go back here. I'll duplicate this asset. So you can see there's a copy of it. Here, you can see because it is saying copy. And so I will click here and I'll actually put in the end physics. And maybe it's good if I call this like cliff 1, because right now it's crazy name for Megascans. So I'll actually rename this to cliff 01, and the same for the asset template. Here we go. So in this copy, what I would do is I create a lower resolution version of this mesh because it is too high resolution for physics. I mean, you can do this if you want, but your game is not going to be very optimized. So what I'll do is in this copy here that I call physics, I will go ahead here in operation, mesh decimation, and I will reduce the poly count from like 11,000 vertices to something like 700 or 600 vertices. So click here to decimate. You can see now it is very low resolution, which is nice. Of course, if I import this into the scene, oh, it's gigantic. But you will see that the resolution is bad. It messed up a little bit with the UVs, but it's not a problem because all I want to do is to use this as the physics for this giant mesh. Because if I press 3 right now to show the physics simulation, you can see that it is yellow, so it's hard to see a little bit, but you can see that it is not covering the cliff. So I'll click here to edit the cliff. So I'll select the cliff mesh right here, and then I'll create another component by right-clicking this, going to physics, reached body, and then in the mesh, I will actually drag and drop the cliff physics. So if I press 3 here, you can see that I do have a lower resolution mesh that the engine will take into account when calculating the physics. So if I go back to my scene and trying to walk towards this, I no longer can walk through it. And again, we do have a cliff mesh. And of course, you can download a bunch of different mega scans and it will work just fine, which is very good. You can create a copy of this and it will work. I'm seeing some shadow artifacts here, but this is due to the LOD level. So I just click it here in the cliff and I will add just a single LOD level for this and adjust the distance so there's no artifacts going on. But anyways, this is pretty much what I wanted to show you in this video. You can see that very quickly we can create some more realistic scenes using realistic assets and all that. Of course, you can keep going and changing the settings here. For example, the sky intensity, maybe I will make this brighter. And I don't know, the HDR will do the rest. or maybe less. Oh, now it's blended with the rest of the game. I like this. You can see, I can barely see where the ground ends, which is very nice. And of course, again, you can go ahead and download more and more clips. I do have some of them here in my projects, and it is very great to do this. And this is not limited to it. You can have vegetation and a bunch of other stuff. If I disable the search filter, oops, I need to set this. I dislike how Fab resets the stuff when you delete the search filters, but we have a bunch of cool stuff here, which is very nice, very nice. Let's actually search for tree, for example. I'm not gonna download and put, but we have a bunch of them. So you get the idea on how this works, and I believe this is very good for you to quickly create assets and games, not assets, right, but games and all that. So it is very easy to put, very easy to adjust. Oh, not to mention, in Cave, you can go to the post-processing here, that it is added by default. You can create new ones. Let me click here to reload the color correction. And you can adjust, for example, the contrast. If I want like something more dramatic or less dramatic, you can do very interesting stuff here in Cave by adjusting these values, even tint if you want. Anyway, so you can do very interesting adjustments here to make sure that the game looks exactly how we want. But I have to say, this already looks very good. I'm happy with this tutorial. So let me know in the comments what do you think, and what do you want to see in the next video. Maybe we do a terrain tutorial or something like that. It would be great. So thanks for watching, folks. Remember, the link to get Cave is in the description. I'm pretty sure that you enjoy it a lot. So I see you in the next video. Bye.